Hello, everybody!
Hello!
That was my best James Hetfield I've ever done. Welcome to another episode of the Alter Ego Podcast.
Hold on. A very special episode of the Alter Ego Podcast.
This is no other episode.
Like none that you've heard before.
That's an episode like no other episode you've ever heard before.
You just won't believe it.
I'll let you guys finish. Go ahead.
It's
On and
finally
on and on.
about to go down.
It's about
Ding,
to go
ding,
down.
ding.
If you're one of the 12 people who've listened to us religiously,
Well, yeah.
you know that this episode has been a long time coming.
Long time coming.
Long time.
Every time we bring up the MCU, more specifically Endgame, my trusty cohort Ryan and I, is it safe to say we butt heads on this?
Oh, absolutely.
You all differ.
We have differences in opinion.
Somebody's wrong thinking Endgame's a good movie.
Oh my God.
I turned up the music because I got to get hype. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the debate episode. Ryan versus Jack. Alter Ego. Endgame. The discussion. Is it a good movie?
Or not.
Am I right?
But there's more to it than just, is it a good movie?
There is more to it.
Mark and I are doing this.
Yeah. Back off, buddy.
Yeah.
Take it, both of you.
Back off, guy.
You know who does like the movie Endgame?
Stop trying to segue. You stop trying to segue this instant.
Hey, you know what? Let's just get Bruce Buffer in here right now and light it up. Let's get ready to rumble.
Hold on, because there's people that enjoy the movie Endgame as well.
Ford Supply, they love it. And they think it's a horrible movie.
They
Ford
love it.
Supply is a great lover of... What is it? Endgame. I almost said Infinity War.
Why are we here? Ford soap, real soap, no bullshit. Is that the whole thing?
Just like this episode.
Please don't drop us, Ford Supply. Please
Makers
don't
of all
drop
natural
us.
and organic soaps for men with scents like tropical teak wood, citrus IPA, citrus cypress,
Cypress
God.
Pine.
Meagan is
transient
broken.
road scum, and more. Visit their website at FordSupply.com
She
to order
didn't even
online.
mention the Outlaw or the Coffee or Death.
It's not written down. I'm reading what you wrote.
Well,
Outlaw,
maybe
which
what
is a
I
new
do is
scent.
harder than you think.
It's our first time doing Ford Supply.
Promo code Alter Ego to get 10% off your order. Ford Supply. Ford soap. Real soap, no bullshit. Sorry.
That's the important part.
And guess who else also likes it?
We know. Give it to this one. Give it to him. Give it to him. Give it to Mark. Mark's got to read this one to redeem you guys. Good Lord.
Oh, my
Come on,
God.
I did great.
I hate
You know
reading.
who else? You know who else did great?
Tony Anello's Southern Italian Cuisine and Grill is a hidden gem that is family-owned and operated on the outskirts of St. Petersburg, Florida, at 1136 Pinellas Bay Way South, Tierra Verde, Florida. They also love Infinity War.
And Endgame.
So does I.
And then, damn it! This is a must-try for homemade Italian lunch or dinner. Just remember to bring your appetite because the portions are very generous. Call for a reservation today at 727-867-3577 or check TonyAnellos.org.
.org.
Is it .org?
It's .com.
No, it's .com.
I was like, wait a second.
I said .edu last time I read it.
They're
I don't
doing
know.
fundraising now.
There we go. At
All right.
GoFundMe /TonyAnellos.edu/org/ I don't know.
NZ.
Sorry.
So-
Anyway.
All right,
so-
boys. Are you ready
yeah.
for this great...
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and set this up, right? So, Ryan and I have disagreements on Endgame and how we feel the movie is and our perception of it. Let's go ahead and preface this by saying that neither one of us are wrong.
Not at all.
Ryan doesn't like it. That's fine. I love it. That's fine. This is just he and I's differences of opinion. And at the end of the day, we're allowed to disagree. I will still love him. He will still be allowed in my home. That is what you all need to understand. You can disagree with people and still be friends with them.
I hate this
That
energy.
is okay. So at this point, our two other hosts, the Cyborg and Miss Megan, have separately come up with 5 topics or points to discuss.
They have no idea what we've done.
No. Please take a step back, Mr.
Please
Austin.
explain it.
We have togetherly come up with 5 points.
Togetherly, we have come up
Is
with
that
5
what I
points.
said?
No, you said separately, but we have been discussing.
Yes,
Okay.
we have. And in this corner, we have any nicknames for yourself, either one of you?
Cadillac Jack, baby.
Cadillac Jack. And in that corner, we have
Sir Clap Cheek Clapper.
Cheek Clapper.
No, nah, just good old
Ryan's
Ryan.
good. Ryan's good. Never
Yeah,
mind.
Ryan works.
I messed that up. And here we go.
Okay.
Let's get ready to rumble!
You actually let me know I could have queued all this up.
I know I wasn't ready. I just
no.
thought about it
Okay,
literally
okay.
8 seconds ago.
This is what happens when you put us in charge of this.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Derails quickly.
So,
Hey, she got the sound
friendly
effect.
discussion. Hold on. Well, you can't see this in audio land, but we're shaking hands. Ryan, I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
They
Thanks,
just
buddy.
flicked each
All
other
right,
off. They're
moving
lying.
on.
Yeah, they're full of it.
Okay, we're ready. You tell us how this is going to go when you want one of us to speak, and how long do we have?
Pick a number 1 to 5.
Ooh, golly gee. Number 2, because I'm the shit.
3.
3. He gets to go first on the first question.
Love it.
All right, so
So I don't get
this
the
is-
option to defer.
Well, I mean, you can rebuttal.
Do you want to go?
you don't get a chance
Do
to
you
go first.
want to go second?
Maybe I want him to go
Oh,
first.
okay, fine. Do you
No.
want him to go? Okay.
Son of a bitch, Ryan. So basically,
I gotta let this hit
He's
out.
already playing mind games. We haven't even gotten to the questions.
we're going to present this like a high school debate team.
Yes.
We are going to bring up a topic of conversation. Jack, you are pro.
Okay.
Ryan, you are con. And Megan and I will talk shit about you.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Fair.
I'm ready for that. That's what I want to get to. I may tailor my answers to that specifically.
The hate
So-
is strong in this room.
We max out at 2 minutes. Does that work for you, Megan?
God.
Yes.
2 minutes?
Each.
Oh, wow.
2 minutes one side, 2 minutes the other. So
Okay.
2 minutes each.
Just because I'm the one controlling the motherboard here, we will take a break at some point.
Yes.
I will take it after the end of a round of questioning.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Megan, would you do us the honor of presenting the first topic
I will.
to Ryan?
The callback to comics.
All right. Is that the whole question?
The
Yes,
con.
How do
the
you
con
feel?
of
This is a
how-
topic of conversation. So, how do you feel about the callbacks to the original comics? Were they good? Were they bad? How much did you hate them? Let's go.
The original comics?
Mhm.
Hated them.
Why?
It didn't end the way it was supposed to end.
How?
Okay.
What do you mean, how?
Elaborate, please.
Because the Adam Warlock and Captain Marvel are the ones who get everybody back. Now, I don't remember exactly how it all happens, but I just know that that's the way it's supposed to happen. It's not supposed to be fucking Tony Stark and I am Iron Man and snapping and shit. Horrible. That's just one of the main reasons I hate it. You set it up in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then no Adam Warlock. You make a whole Marvel movie, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, whatever you want to call her, but no Adam Warlock, and you don't. It just felt too fandomy for me. Like they just did it just to do it because, as you say, RDJ did want to keep continuing doing it. I heard he didn't want to do it. So it's like they built the whole movie around that. And that's one of the things that I fucking hate the most.
All
So
right.
heavy on the fandom.
Way heavy.
There you go. Mr. Jack Austin. How
The
do you
pros
feel?
of comic book references?
Yes, callbacks, comic book references.
I'll say this. I haven't read the Infinity Saga personally, but I understand Ryan's point. 49 hours and 56 minutes is how long that first phase of the MCU lasts.
I did not know that.
And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which does introduce Adam Warlock, I'm going to go ahead and say is on the back nine of that. And you can't take over a franchise that's invested that much time into storytelling, character development, just to do fan service at the end. Because if you bring up all these characters, which Iron Man is in, 5 MCU movies? Same with Captain America. Same with Thor. Just to have somebody else take over the reins. Now, they do pay homage to Captain Marvel and her power and her contributing in the very end. She doesn't even show up in Infinity War, but she definitely makes a huge dent. And if most would say is the tipping point of the battle in Endgame, where she shows up and destroys Thanos' ship and almost single-handedly takes him out. But in terms of throwbacks to comics, I can't really speak much to that, but I know that the character that's absent in Infinity War gets major homage in Endgame, and that is Hawkeye, as he shows up as the Ronin character, which Ronin is a samurai without a master. And it's somebody who is tearing through the MCU as we know it, a.k.a. Japan, Mexico. They talk about the cartel and the carnage he's left behind. And that is a major key to the storytelling of him and a callback to the comics. That's my biggest comic callback. But anyway, I'll end right there saying that I think you can't always pay homage to the comics, but or you can pay homage, but you can't go word for word.
You don't have to go word for word, but if you're going to tell a story that's 21 movies long, you should finish it the right way. I mean, if I told the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and I was like, Goldilocks, this bed's too, you know what I mean? Fuck.
This bed's too lumpy.
Yeah,
this
there you
porridge is too hot.
I kept thinking about the porridge for some reason. I'm hungry. But
all I can think about is the porridge as well.
yeah, the porridge too hot, too cold. And you're just like, yeah, Goldilocks broke into the bear's house, and that was it.
Do we each get rebuttals to our rebuttals?
You used your whole 2 minutes.
if you
you
want.
only used one, technically speaking.
Technically?
But yes, this is, however, an open discussion, so I'll leave it to the floor if you guys would like to.
All I have to say is neither one of you brought up Captain America holding Mew Mew.
Mjolnir?
Mew Mew?
Maybe there's room for that in the future.
Let's move on.
Move on to question on number 2. Hold on.
Are we alternating starting
And
points?
it's got to be me
Yeah.
next. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's only fair.
Do you want me just to keep with the...
Yeah, go for it.
The visual and emotional effects of the movie.
The emotional effects of the movie. Let me go ahead and tell you, Endgame has the most emotional effect on people than any other movie in the MCU, starting with the guy I mentioned last time, Hawkeye. In the opening sequence, you already know what's going to happen. They set this up for you. You start with this famous Avenger and his family, and he loses them. This movie focuses more on losing the MCU than anything else. It focuses on desperation. Literally every single major Avenger in this movie has had major loss and something serious they're dealing with, in a sense that we don't see that in any other movie that's ever been put out for the MCU. Let's start here. Iron Man. He loses Spider-Man. That's the one thing that's been his ward, the person who's his mentee that he's working with the entire time. And he feels like, I've never lost, and I lost the one thing I didn't want to lose. Captain America, he lost Bucky. He lost Sam Wilson. He lost everything that was important to him, and he's another one that's never lost. Thor is somebody who fought Thanos twice and lost twice. He lost his brother. He lost his people. He lost his dignity going after somebody that he swore he was going to kill. And he was someone that you even see a physical transformation from on screen, where he turns into Fat Thor. And you have
Dad bod.
the Hulk, who couldn't physically get over the separation of individuals, that in this sense, he's the one that you get positivity out of, because he finally is able to grow from that massive loss that both Banner and Hulk suffer. And then you have the Black Widow. She loses everything. Everybody's separate. Everybody breaks up. Everybody's not part of the team anymore, which is the only thing that matters to her. And now she's leading a band of people who don't really matter. So that is, to me, where you can signify loss. in
One.
this.
All right, read that
Jack
question
Austin
again.
really working on that lung capacity
The
going
visual
into
and
this
emotional,
episode.
but touch on the emotional because I'll swing back for visual because that is kind of a two-parter.
All right,
So-
the visual. It was
Or do emotional first.
Do emotional first.
Yeah, react to the emotions.
the emotions. I mean, to me, it just
It's tough to fight that one. Sorry.
for
I
me
know.
personally, I got more
Zip the
emotion out
lip.
of Black Panther than I did out of this one.
Mm-hmm.
There was some hype moments for me. Don't get me wrong. At the end, when Captain America calls the Avengers after they all walk back through, that was dope. And then when Thor throws him Mjolnir and you get the little one, dope. But I mean, as far as the emotions, I didn't really care too much. Like, I actually fell asleep in the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even watch the first time I saw it. I fell
Blasphemy.
asleep.
Blasphemy.
You talk about like everybody's losing. Everybody lost somebody. You know what I mean? You're a hero. That's what you do. You live or you die. So to me, them focusing on some of that, I don't know. I didn't really care or didn't feel too much either way about anything. I just wanted it to be over and like, let's go. Let's get into the action. Movie draw out way too long, I felt too. I just didn't take a lot of emotions away from it. Like, I mean, Hawkeye is a human. He could die at any moment. His family, they died. Sucks to suck, bro, but you know what I mean? Like, I could care less about Hawkeye losing his family.
You're dead inside.
I really am.
He's a dark soul.
I really am. Like, it didn't matter to me. Like,
Movie's a movie.
yeah, for the most part.
They're not real.
And to his point, I mean, that's your perception.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
All right.
So, wait, oh no, go finish your time.
Oh, no, you feel free.
So are we going on visual now, or are we going on emotional? Which one did I touch on, Marcus? You told me I had to touch on both.
Well, if you would like to touch on the visual, however, the next question is probably a little heavy on the visual as well. So I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to talk visual without being specific? Just
Yeah,
movie overall?
absolutely.
Okay. Movie overall, not specific moments or not specific parts of the movie. Just movie overall visually. Go.
Visually, you see the culmination of the MCU. You see victory, in a lot of cases, defeat for all the major characters. All those 49 hours and however many minutes you see wrapped up and zipped up in this movie, whether it's comic book accurate or not. You see emotional and physical transformations for everybody. Physically, you see reactions to seeing people you haven't seen, seeing people you thought were lost, and even a world that you thought was lost. So anyway, I'll stop there because the next one's visually focusing, so we'll go on that.
Mm-hmm.
Why did this visually suck, Ryan?
I mean, it didn't visually suck. It looked like every other Marvel movie for the most part. There's action, you got all that. It looked fine to me. Like, it wasn't like it was, oh my God, I hate this movie because it's ugly. No, there's none of that.
Right.
It's just, to me, the story that they told,
Your issue is more with story.
yeah,
there
my
should have been
issue
more
is
depth.
a lot more, and a lot of different things that didn't make sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
and still don't make sense to me, that they kind of passed off on us and like, oh, there you guys go, but it's the Endgame, and you guys are going to love it. And I just didn't care for it. You're not going to pull the wool over Ryan Lee Glover's eyes like that. I noticed shit.
I just found out that his middle name was Lee, and I wrote that.
I never knew
shit
that.
down.
Learning stuff today, people.
Yep.
All right, Meagan.
Okay, so the next one is, and this is where the visual comes in, probably heavily, the final battle.
Pros and cons for the final battle.
You want to start this one,
Mr.
Ryan?
Glover? Mr. Lead Lover?
This is, I'm...
To be quite honest, on this one, I can't really con it. Like, the final battle, it's the hype battle. You've watched this hour and a half of a boring ass movie. They better finish it strong.
3 hours.
Exactly. They better fucking. I don't know because I was asleep, so I only saw her the first time I saw it. So it had to be awesome. Like I said, they had those hype moments, especially like I said when Cap comes out and they get done fighting, and then he tightens up the strap. Black Panther starts walking through on your left. You know what I mean? Got hype right there. That kind of made it. And then when Thor throws a millionaire, that's it. And then just the whole fight sequence in there was dope as fuck. Like, I love that. That last 30 minutes is the only part of Endgame that I really want to watch. I'll be quite honest with you.
I have just gone back and watched just that sequence.
Me too.
As
like,
we have
me
as
too.
well, like over and over.
Because
Because
it's just
over.
nuts.
It is. It's one of the.
So good.
It is a great scene. That one I can't con at all.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
That's fair.
That's a-
we might
that's
have
a
set you
fair
up
argument.
for failure on that one.
Do you have any negatives about that scene?
Not enough Adam Warlock.
No, not. I don't really think I have too many negatives.
Not enough Nebula.
No.
Too much Nebula.
Yeah.
You can't say that because that's a
No.
crucial part of the
No, I
comics.
know it is. It is. She gets her hands in the gauntlet, like they did show. They did show that.
Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they did that, I was like, oh!
Yeah,
oh!
but it's also after the fact. Apparently, from what I understand,
It is.
after the fact that all that happens. But
Yeah.
no, I can't really knock that scene too much. Not gonna lie, I wish I would have saw Thanos fighting a little more, but instead of just sitting there.
Yeah.
But
We got a lot of that in the previous movie, though.
yeah,
Mr.
Rebuttal?
Jack Lee Austin.
The positives of that scene that I've watched 1,000
Could you
times
come up with
over.
anything?
And you
I
don't
don't
even
know.
really have to argue it, apparently.
yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
That one you don't.
You
have
have
to
the
But you
build up.
still have
I
the
gotta
floor.
talk fast. You have the build up before. You've already got me 10 seconds. And I haven't even been talking that
I'll
long.
start it over.
Oh my
Jeez.
god!
I mean,
Let me know when
uh,
I can get started. Okay, good. So you have the three titular characters. The first times the Avengers meet is Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. And in this same one, when everything has been smashed in front of them, you have Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. And they all three look at each other and go, we got to go down there and fight this guy. We don't have a choice. And Thor's like, abso-fucking-lutely. As long as we're all in agreement. And then they go down there and they fight. And sure, amazing moments. Captain America picking up the hammer, Mjolnir, and him saying, "I knew it." Everybody loves that, and them kind of holding their own against Thanos, but kind of not.
Everybody
but
thinking
the part
that Cap
to
was
me
going to die.
that does a lot is when Cap is by himself, and this adamantium, the most indestructible metal in the world, vibranium, thank you, gets destroyed, and he's looking at an entire army, and all he does is strap it up and say, I can do this all day.
Chills.
Like, he's ready to take on literally every single one of the
Ready to die.
Chitauri, the flying snakes, Thanos, the Black Order. Captain America in that moment says, I'm going to die. Don't care. Let's fucking do it. And to me, I get super hyped for that. And my favorite moment in MCU history is Captain America charging the line with Black Panther going against the Chitauri in Infinity War. And who's the first motherfucker to show up when they say on your left, Black Panther? And I go, the hype train has fucking left the station. I'm ready to go. And it didn't matter who else showed up. I would have watched Cap and Black Panther rip apart the entire army. But I understand that RDJ has been important. He's been the lead of the entire universe, so I get why he gets that. But every single Avenger gets their shining moment in that battle. So to me, that's why it was just so visually spectacular. Even there's emotional moments with Star-Lord. Gamora? And then you get a laugh with, you didn't get me on the first one, but you got both on the second one. I mean, it's amazing. You even see Spider-Man in a moment of panic. I'm going to fucking die. And he gets rescued. But anyway, I digress. A lot of emotional moments.
Are you ready for the next one?
Yep.
This is emotional. The exit of Iron Man and Cap.
Okay.
The
I go
pros.
first.
Yeah.
Captain America. Boy, oh boy. The guy who says from the first Avengers movie to Iron Man, you're not the guy willing to lay down on the wire. You're not the one to make the sacrifice play. And he's in a moment where he's fought to his last breath, and the guy who does make the sacrifice play is Iron Man. And he shows up to see, despite all the tumultuous activities between him and Iron Man, that shield's not yours, my father made that shield, and everything special about you came out of a bottle. They've had their moments where they fight each other, but at the same time they're best buds. That moment where he sees Iron Man give up everything to save everyone. It's huge for Iron Man. It's what we've been waiting for in all those minutes and all those hours of the entire MCU. So to me, I was like, oh, shit. Iron Man wins. He did what needed to happen to stop all this invasion, and he finally did it. He sacrificed everything for his daughter, for his wife, for the entire MCU. And that, to me, was the most beautiful moment. Just people coming up and telling him how much they love them. And I thought to myself, wow, Captain America survived. And then they said, hey, you need to go back and put all these stones where they belong. And I was like, to me, this is stupid. Why are they even showing this? Why is Cap going to go back and do all this? Because, yeah, sure, put him back, and then what? We got Captain America, and all we lose is Iron Man? I wasn't expecting, although Bucky was, to see Captain America say, you know what? I'm not going to live the way you expected me to live. I'm going to go live my life because that guy who I used to give all that shit to, he told me I should go live. And I'm going to do that. And he lives his entire life and says, this Avengers business is up to you guys now. I thought they both sent it off perfectly.
And this is where we differ very much.
Here comes Ryan with the heat.
Because me personally, I felt that the Iron Man exit was just horrible. Wow. Straight fanfare garbage. You had the Hulk. You had Thanos, who tried to pick up 6 stones and use them all at once. Damn near killed Thanos. Fucked up the Hulk severely. What's his face? Star-Lord, half Celestial. Held on to 1 stone. He almost died. It took all the Guardians to beat Ronan. And here's Iron Man with the I am Iron Man, and he's able to snap. Trash. Should have never happened.
But it killed him.
It killed him. He shouldn't even have been able to do it. He should have died before he even snapped. If you watch the scene, it takes Hulk himself like 13 seconds to even get it all together to snap. Robert Downey Jr. is a human being. He should have died immediately. Period. There's that. Then the other thing that wasn't great about that was he's standing there. It would have been a better sacrifice if he didn't look at Doctor Strange and he's like, 14,469,000 ways. Only one. So he knows what he's got to do. That was just corny. If he would have just done it, and that would have been the only way it played out, might have been a little better for me. But here you are, Iron Man. Here's your cue. Go be a hero. Trash. And Cap? Didn't really care too much about that. Like, you can kind of see that was going to happen. It was obvious. But the one thing I didn't like was him giving Falcon the shield. Nah, fam.
Isn't that a comic book thing? Doesn't Falcon get the
I
shield?
don't get a rebuttal. You spent 2 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you want, screw their rules. Rebuttal.
To Iron Man using the gauntlet. If you watch that scene, he's saying, and I am, as the gems are moving their way into that socket. And as soon as they're there, he goes, Iron Man.
Yeah.
So as far as the gems being in the gauntlet and them finally working, he wears it for a split second. The Hulk puts on a gauntlet that has all 6 gems already in it. And when he puts it on, he's like, oh shit, this fucking hurts. And then he's thinking and snaps. So you're right. That should kill him instantly as a human. But if you look at the time that the gauntlets are actually inset into the gauntlet, the stones rather, are in the gauntlet, it's very minimal compared to how long the Hulk holds onto it. And it's also very minimal compared to how long Thanos holds onto it. And if you think about it, Thanos holds it longer than anybody. He gets it in, absorbs the power, and goes, okay, bitch, I got this, and doesn't snap his fingers until he has an axe halfway through his chest. So you're right there, but you got to take into consideration how long these individuals, in terms of power, are holding on to the gauntlet. Thanos is also another one who held on to the Power Stone. Then the Space Stone. Then reality, soul, mind, time,
Slow drip.
whatever order. So he's taking all of them individually in a gauntlet that's designed to take that power. Hulk and Iron Man are taking on a gauntlet that's designed by Tony Stark. So Hulk takes on all 6 at once. It fucks him up. Iron Man takes on all 6 at once. It kills him instantly. Thanos is crippled in his arm and can't use it anymore. So you're right about that. But I think the thought of the power of what they're taking on when they take it on is something to take into consideration.
Well, to me, like, the way they made it seem was that all the 6 stones had to be in it and set, and you already had to absorb the power in order to use it. It's going up his arm. It's doing the little crawly thing it is.
Right.
Why was he even able to snap his fingers? You know what I mean? Like, if you had the Hulk who was struggling to snap his fingers with all 6 stones done, I still don't see how Iron Man, just half dead after having his ass thoroughly whooped by Thanos. I am Iron Man.
But he's still
No.
functioning. He's still up and moving. And so is the Hulk. Yeah. You're right, the amount of power that they take, but we also don't know how that power affects the individual, right? Because let's think about this, a soul for a soul. What you deem as reality is subjective. All these things, you don't know how the stones affect the individual wielding them. They could affect every individual the same.
Fair.
And this is the perfect time for a commercial break, folks, because we've got one more double question coming up next.
Yes, one double question.
It's a
Holy
two-parter that you got, and
shnikes.
it'll be more open floor, I think, for this one.
All right, well, let's take a break, and we'll be back very shortly.
I am ready now.
Thank you so much for your time. I really hope that got picked up. I appreciate you listening to those ads. It really helps us out a lot. It's ridiculous. I hate ads. I don't know what you just listened to, but if you listen to it, I love you, man. I appreciate you. That helps us out so much. So thank you. Moving on in this debate that has been set up by Meagan and the Cyborg. I believe we have one more 2-part question that, if I'm not mistaken, you're starting on.
Well, I figured this last one, which is the two-parter, would be a little bit more open forum, not necessarily back and forth. Time is of the essence, so it doesn't need to be a prolonged
Do we
debate.
get more time for this one?
Yes, I think that's fair. You guys can kind of openly discuss it. But
Okay.
it is a two-parter.
All right.
Okay.
Do you want them both at the same time?
Let's have them
I
both at the
defer to
same
you,
time.
Okay.
sir. Okay.
They kind of go hand in hand because the final question is your opinions on the overall story. However, which one was better, Infinity War or Endgame? Because technically the overall story ends with those 2 chapters.
Okay.
So they go hand in hand. But which half of the chapter was better, and how do you feel about the overall ending and the overall story of the MCU's first phase? Second, third, fourth. How many phases are we in?
That was the end of phase 3.
Okay, well, you know what I mean.
So
The first, whatever.
whose turn is it to go first? Is it
The
Ryan's?
floor is yours, sir.
I mean, for me, obviously, like I just said earlier, too, Infinity War, definitely the best one. Endgame, I really did not care for the whole back in time thing, too. I hate that. That's like the worst cliche you can throw in a movie. We just fucked everything up. Let's fix it by going back in time. Having to rewatch all those scenes that you pretty much have already seen, them going back and forth, and not to mention, there's a lot of shit in that I still don't understand and don't make sense to me after watching this. Like, how the hell did Thanos get there in the first place?
Get where?
Get back to their time.
Okay.
That one I didn't understand because I could have sworn Nebula was the only one that came through. And if they were in a different time, how does that happen?
I'm biting my tongue. I'm waiting for Jack to answer that.
Oh, okay. Please do.
Yeah, we're not contributing.
Like, that's a legitimate
this is
question.
y'all's
I have.
argument.
Like,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, this
No,
is a little open more. I'm not
We can
keeping
do a
time.
back and forth on this.
How
Yeah,
did
yeah,
Thanos
yeah.
get back?
Yeah.
Because the Pym particle that was stolen for Nebula to return
Uh-huh.
back to the present time, that technology and that particle was used on the ship. Now,
So then how did Nebula come back to the one thing?
What do you mean?
Didn't she come back the way she was supposed to come back?
No.
On the little platform?
She does not come back. Oh, wait, how does Nebula come back to...
Evil Nebula comes back.
Ah, yes. Evil Nebula comes back because they said we have enough for 2 trips for everybody.
It was one trip.
And
there
so,
and back.
Right. So they take the Pym particle for Nebula to come back, and they steal it from her, and they send it back with Evil Nebula.
But they also
But
kidnapped
then-
evil or good Nebula.
Exactly.
Mm.
That was
they
one
all
thing
come
that I
back on
never
the
got
ship.
that made sense to me was how the hell did Thanos get back? And I hate the size proportion in that scene too, because Thanos is so big. They take out that tiny Pym particle, and it looks like one of the canisters from the Secret of the Ooze in Thanos' hands. Thing should have been like this damn big.
Okay.
But other than that, inconsistency. But
Seems like a
Yeah.
minor detail, but
yeah, it is. It is. It's a minor thing, but it annoys the hell out of me because of the difference. But that whole scene, like I said, didn't make sense to me because Evil Nebula came back. How did Thanos get into that time? They only had one shot left. Where did he copy the Pym particle all of a sudden? Like something that took Dr. Pym years and decades to finish. I mean, I know they're advanced and whatnot.
Sure.
But
We both want to answer this question.
Now wait a minute. So Dr. Pym is a earthbound entity who has not discovered space travel or time travel or anything of that nature. He has just figured out how to make people shorter and bigger. And Thanos agreeably seems to have technology just a skosh more advanced than that. Dr. Pym hasn't discovered how to morph somebody from one plane of existence to another, as Thanos has, in the sense of pulling people off of a certain planet onto his ship. He also has discovered a lot more things because he's visited a lot more worlds than the Earth. So it's safe to say, with the amount of worlds that he's visited and the amount of technology that he has encompassed, he may or may not be able to duplicate that. But
Are we allowed to contribute at
yeah,
all?
go ahead.
I'm
Go
just
for it. It's open for it.
so
Open for it now.
as far as like how does it get the Pym particle and how did both Nebulas get back? So she was discovered, she was found, kidnapped from where she was in this cave from the Guardians moment. So they both Nebulas come back at the same time on the ship. Is that right?
No.
no.
Because the evil one comes back, and
The evil one
she
comes back.
uses the equipment that Bruce Banner
To
built
bring
To bring
the
him-
ship
to
back.
bring the ship back. But
But how
they
if
kidnapped
there's no
her
more
first,
particles?
so technically they both came back at the same time.
no, just the one came back,
No,
and
just
the
the
other
one.
one came back on the ship.
That's correct.
Okay,
Exactly.
so where is the extra
they brought
Pym?
the evil one back, thinking it was the good one. Like she came back with everybody else.
Oh yeah.
And she's like,
And then why didn't it
But
come
she
back?
does show that particle to Thanos.
She does show it to Thanos, and that's what I'm saying.
So he
There's
somehow
the-
maybe duplicates it.
But
I don't know.
I was gonna
That's what I'm
say,
saying. In
I
a
agree
matter
with
of a minute.
Jack's.
That's a gray matter.
I agree with Jack's thought, whereas he can take a simple earthbound component and multiply it to move a ship or to move a large group of people and to do it in a very fast manner. So I can kind of
do that. To
Do
bring
you
his
at least
whole
agree-
Army.
Do you at least agree that Thanos' technology is superior and much far advanced to that of Earth?
Yeah, but if you go with that same concept, why are you even here? Like, why doesn't he have the stones already? Why hasn't this already been and done? Why does he go looking for them the way he
because
has
if you
to?
want to go back to Infinity War, it's more of a quest for him. It's more of a spiritual journey. That's why in the first one he takes his armor off and doesn't engage anybody with anything but the gauntlet, because to Thanos, and I believe this is in the comic, it's more of a religious and a spiritual conquest for him than it is about dominating. It's more about his journey as far as Thanos, the titular villain, than it is to say, well, I can just kill everybody any moment that I want.
because like you see in that opening scene when the Hulk attacks Thanos
Another thing I hate about this.
and the Black Order gets held back, and it's like let him have his fun.
By
Maw.
not Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw, yes.
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
So I agree to that statement where it's like it's a journey for him, and it's more of he's not trying to get to the end. He's trying to find his way there.
Yeah, but still going off of what they've shown us, it doesn't fit. Doesn't make sense.
What do you mean when you say it doesn't fit?
Because, and then you also have to come on that pad because it was what was made by Tony Stark. So they had to have the little bracelet. They had to have all that to make that work to go back in time at the exact right spot. Still. And he also had to end up on that pad, which is what she did. They just come out of the sky out of nowhere like they were already there.
The pad was the bridge in the landing zone, and evil Nebula has access to that. Now, she may know the particular point in time and space, and to the same point of the particle, they may have been able to get the bracelet from her and say, oh, this is your time GPS tracker. This is how this is going to work. Now, the matter of technology is a little bit different with them compared to everybody else, because let's also think about like this. When Ebony Maw escapes with Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, all three of them are like, I guess this is how this works. This is made for one big guy, so you need to, I guess, do this. And they crash land. So it serves to say that Thanos might have better technology. And if you think about it like this, other than attacking Thor's ship that's escaping in Ragnarok in the beginning of Infinity War, there's no other technology that Thanos uses other than himself and the gauntlet.
And just to add one more thing in regards to the, like, how Thanos would know how to do X, Y, and Z and where time was and all that stuff. There's evidence that regardless if Nebula is past or present or future Nebula, they constantly know what's happening in each other's brain. So whether they show it on screen or not, it seems as if he probably got a lot of that information from evil Nebula, who mentally, unwillingly, basically pulled that information from the other Nebula and probably shared that. So I think it's kind of insinuated that she probably had a huge part in educating him on the whole process.
But still,
plus, he had the technology to build Nebula in the first place.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't make up for Tony Stark, and which is another thing. Hey, I figured out time travel in a day. Like that was kind of ridiculous too.
Well, they don't really necessarily show the time change from when Cap leaves them to when he figures it out. Sure, it might be a next scene, but there's time elapsed no matter what. But let's also think about the fact that Thanos, when you look on the Marvel database, which I have not checked, is a genius level intellect. Tony Stark is not the smartest person in the universe. And let's just go ahead and say this. Rocket looks at him and says, hey, you're only a genius on Earth.
Yeah.
So Thanos having that level of intellect and being able to figure out things that geniuses on Earth figure out, we're not considering what levels of intellect might be on other planets as well. So let me answer this question. Can I get it repeated as well, please? Which one did you like more, Infinity War?
Which is better, Infinity War or Endgame?
That's not the full question, is it?
What's your feelings on the overall story? The overall, yeah.
Okay.
Ending of the chapter.
I agree with Ryan. I think Infinity War has the best ending of any MCU movie that has been, because it is the finale of all of these entities finally coming together, and for the first time in all of MCU history, they lose. They have never, ever lost in any MCU movie leading up to all the hours and minutes that I mentioned. They don't lose. That's the point. So in this one, not only do they lose the people most precious to them. For God's sakes, all of the entire Guardians except for Rocket are lost. That is the most defeated I've ever felt walking out of a movie theater.
Yeah.
Was leaving Infinity War and thinking to myself, my God, what are they going to do? What could they possibly come up with to beat the fact that the unbeatable, which was Thanos, beat them and got rid of half of the entire universe? That is, to me, the best comic book ending of any movie that's ever been. I don't know how you top that, and I'm hopeful that I get surprised. Endgame, I think, is the perfect ending to the series, because you can't have all that happen, all those hours, all those movies, without some form of sacrifice, without losing something. And by God, there are how many members of the Avengers? 6? And you lose half the team. You lose
Black Widow. Iron Man.
You lose Cap. You lose Iron Man. That is half of what you've built your story on. Cap and Iron Man, that's 3 movies that you've lost. 2 of which are solo films, and in the case of Iron Man, 3. You're losing so much, and these stories are tied up with a bow. Done. But at the same time, in Endgame, you're leaving it open. Not only are you leaving it open, you're leaving it open with excitement. As Guardians of the Galaxy, who doesn't want to see that movie? You want to see more Peter Quill and Thor going at it. You want to see where does Hawkeye go from here? He betrayed the team. Then he's with the team and helped them build it up. Now he's lost half the team. And he lost his family and then regained it. Where does he go from there?
Takes his ass home.
You have the Hulk, who has been this genius level professor, then this brooding monster that does nothing but wreck shop. Then you have this mixture of both, who brings back the universe and really doesn't know what to do with himself from there. So if I had to make a choice, Infinity War is the better movie as far as ending goes. But as far as tying up the universe and as far as a better movie in total is concerned, I think Endgame is better, because you go from the point of desperation to the point of victory with sacrifice. So in my personal opinion, it's hard to pick, but if I had to say better ending, it's Endgame. Or not Endgame, Infinity War, rather. But from there, which all we know in the MC universe, and you had to know, looking at it from the start, this is not the end. This is not where you stop. So, sure, you end some story arcs, and some major ones at that, but you're setting up for years and years more storytelling. That is where the excitement comes from in Endgame, because yeah, you're seeing a major moment from Peter Parker, but you're seeing the beginning of Peter Parker. He's lost a mentor, but he's beginning his own travels. You see Thor, who says, I'm tired of trying to be the king of Asgard. Let me just be Thor. You go from the Hulk, who's I'm this raging monster, to now I don't know what I am. So to me, I think there's plenty of future to go with. But to answer the question in general, more emotion comes out of Endgame, but the better ending is Infinity War without question.
I think for me it's the opposite, though. Like, it is. I think I felt more like you said, that last few minutes of that snap in Infinity War, as you're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Endgame, I was just like, I see it coming. And it's funny because a podcast that I listen to, does a video game podcast, does a little thing where he has a movie one, and he called that like Avengers. That's what was going to happen. Tony Stark's going to sacrifice him. Everyone's seen it coming. To me, you could have done better. You really could have.
So the MCU, in your opinion, is victim of good storytelling. So let's say in the end of Endgame, we have all these characters coming together, and you've had this play from the first Avengers movie, and at the end, Hawkeye snaps his fingers. What do you say? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So what character do you replace with Iron Man to make that movie a decent movie?
Here's the thing. You don't necessarily have to. One of my favorite sports movies of all time is Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
That final game.
Where they lose.
They lose. That's why Infinity War held so much power to it, because, like you said, they lost.
Yeah.
Endgame, make it to where they may not win again. I mean, you lose half of everybody anyway. Why not just make it that they lose again? And that's that. And you go from there.
So in the scenario where they lose, because the titular goal for all of them is the end game to snap away half the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done all this work through 3 hours of movie to bring back Spider-Man, Falcon, Winter Soldier, 5/6 of the Guardians, and you've brought back all these people. They're finally there. Hey, you have this great moment. The on your left works for Cap. We love it. It's going to be amazing. And then Thanos eventually gets the gauntlet and snaps them all gone again. What's the point?
Not fair.
Right. So where do you continue the MCU from there? From there, you don't get Scarlet Witch. You don't get Loki. You don't get Falcon or the Winter Soldier. You don't get any of these people back into the MCU, which are worth, the storytelling being given to them. You got to say, Scarlet Witch is gone. Okay. We lost Scarlet Witch, who's an alpha level mutant who brings everybody, I don't know. She brings a big presence to the MCU. You lose Falcon and Winter Soldier. Some people might not care, but now we look at this story, this roadmap, and we go, we really don't want to lose them because we've already lost Cap. You don't want to lose the Guardians because then you lose your intergalactic shot at the rest of the universe, unless you're planning on following just Captain Marvel, which I think the MCU shoots a little higher, which is hard to say because she's top tier. But it's hard to go further with the ending that you are imagining. Sure, I'd love to see them lose. That would be cool. And maybe in What If we see that. But if you look at the MCU in the longevity, and I'm not talking movies, I'm talking comics. How many times have you seen a major character get quotation marks killed and then brought back?
Oh, it happens all the time.
All the freaking time. But in the MCU, it's less believable. It's hard to bring back these titular characters in the MCU. So you have to have them there. You have to have them real. You have to ground them in reality and then bring them back in a believable way.
I'm going to be honest. I don't want to see them lose. I mean, I wanted to see it end the way it should have ended.
Yeah.
Because then everyone comes back. But couldn't happen. So, I mean, I guess that's it. But at the same time, that whole last scene when the Hulk snapped his fingers should have been over right there, in my opinion. Should have just fucking never wished he was there.
But in that scenario, the Hulk doesn't know that Thanos is even coming. He has no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I get that. I'm just saying. If it's me, Thanos doesn't exist. This never happened. Everybody back.
But you have this previous Thanos, this evil Nebula. He snaps his fingers in credits. Then where does it go from there?
Everyone's back and everyone's happy.
But you have an evil Nebula. Now what?
You wait till evil Nebula comes around again, I guess. I don't know.
You drop that storyline altogether. The fact that this evil ambassador from a future dynasty is just playing hooky? She's nobody?
Yes.
So-
if you could not,
okay.
if you could not bring in Adam Warlock and do it the right way, fuck her. Fuck it all.
So
Fuck it all.
Let's do it all.
I think we're approaching
So-
the end of this argument.
Yeah.
but I had-
We are, but I'm going to ask you one more question in that regard. So, what are your feelings on Iron Man 3 and Thor Ragnarok if you are so comic serious to these storylines?
I know nothing about that storyline.
There you go. So, Iron Man 3, he fights the Mandarin who has the 10 rings from outer space. Nothing to do with humans re-preparing them, re-correcting themselves and being human bombs. And in Thor Ragnarok, sure, it's the end of Asgard, but it ends on a very different note than what happens in Thor Ragnarok. So what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander is what you're saying.
No, I honestly, like I said, I don't know that story. I don't know Thor Ragnarok, but I know how the fuck the fucking gauntlet's supposed to end.
Well, this is my question I was going to ask you. Do you truly believe that it would have been a better movie if in the last 15 minutes Adam Warlock shows up and he's the one to do it?
I mean, if there would have been time, like I said, they lose, and then you. That's what I'm saying too. My bad. Let me back up a little more.
Go ahead.
I also feel that Endgame shouldn't have been the last movie. I felt they should have kept going, but like I said, they wanted out of their contracts or what have you, or whatnot, whatever people say.
It was time.
I've heard it both ways that they wanted to go. Marvel wore them out. I don't know what's what because I'm not one of them. So.
They're also getting raises every year, so it's
Exactly.
it's hard to keep paying that and make money at the same time. Granted,
Fair.
I'm sure Disney's not worried about making money, but
Yeah.
But so that's, I mean, for me, I think after Endgame, it should have kept going. And that's what I'm like.
and it is. We just haven't seen it
And I
yet.
haven't seen it yet. Exactly. So even if they would have lost, it could have ended up a different way.
Yeah.
To me, it's just,
And hey,
could've.
you know what? That's where we
There's
go
just-
back to what I said at the beginning is nobody's
Nobody's wrong.
really wrong.
Yeah.
there's
But
so
it's-
many things. I hate
it's
what they
also-
did to the Hulk, too.
It's Marvel movies are technically kids movies.
Yeah.
Well, you watch your dirty mouth.
They are. we're middle-aged nerds arguing about comic book movies, but we're not the target market.
No.
True.
We're not.
We're adjacent
and
to the target
also
market.
we have to think of who makes money and who doesn't.
Yeah. Somebody a lot younger than us spent a lot more money on
Yeah.
Iron Man T-shirts and lunchboxes.
Yeah, that's true.
Except for Jack, because there's like 30 Iron Man pops in here.
That's not
But still,
true.
I mean, I got Iron
I
Man
have
shirts
more
and-
Captain American pops than Iron Man pops.
That's actually 1,000%
Count 'em.
true.
Thank you.
There was a minute there that we were like, we don't have a single Iron Man pop.
Actually, if you want
You
to
have
think
Venom
about
eyes.
it, there
I know
is
that.
more
That doesn't
Venom
count.
pops than anything else.
Yes.
In this entire room of 900 pops, there are more Venom pops than anything. But if you're looking at the original Avengers, there are more Thor pops in this house than anything.
Yep.
But that's just somebody's sick fantasy.
Boom.
Jack.
I think that was a wonderful debate.
Did
we
we
should
cover
do it
everything?
more often.
We did.
We certainly didn't. There's so much more room for stuff.
There-
I
A little
think
bit
we did
here
a
and
great
there.
job. There's more stuff to talk
Oh,
about.
yeah. You guys did a great job putting this together. Right, Mark?
Yeah, you guys did great.
But I mean,
Wow. Sorry.
Well,
you
we'll
guys
see you
could
guys
have could have debated so much better than Ryan and I. Jeez. We need to find something that both of you disagree on, and Ryan and I are going to mediate.
We'll see you at Avengers 5.
In 2027 when Megan's using a
Oh my
walker.
God. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Alter Ego Podcast. We love you. Check us next time. Have a wonderful day.
see ya.
I'm starved.
I am hidden.
I am famished.
The dog is angry.
All right, now I can turn off my fake hate.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Snap it.
Snap your hate. Tell us how much you love it.
It's funny because, like I said, the first time I watched it, the movie was just a lot of irony there.